What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my Commander Deck Tech series where I'm just showing off all of my Commander decks that I've built. I recently made a poll online and just seeing which ones you wanted to see next out of my more recent ones. And everyone wanted to see, well, the most votes was Samwise Gamgee. It's from the Lord of the Rings set. Sam, I wanted to build Sam. Even before anything was spoiled, I knew I wanted to build Sam, and thank goodness he was actually pretty cool to build around. Green and white, so Selesnya Commander. He's a 2/2 halfling peasant, and whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a food token. These are artifacts that you can pay 2, sacrifice the artifact, gain 3 life. And then he also has another ability, sacrifice 3 foods, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. So artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. So this is going to be a blink ETB, get as much food as we can type deck. There's tons and tons of tokens, tons of blinking, and you'll kind of see what goes on with Sam as he gathers his friends. We'll start off with the creatures. Got a fair amount because we want to blink them in, and what better way to start off with a meal? This is going to be our main combo piece. We do have a combo in the deck with the meal, but if you're running enter the battlefield effects, you're going to want a meal. Meal to Bless is 2 white for a 4/4 unicorn, and then you can pay 3, exile another target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control right away, not until the next end step. Then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay Selesnya. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it. If it's unicorn, put 2. Mainly, we're just going to have 3 mana, flicker, re-ETB whatever we want, and when it comes in, Sam's going to make us a food. Super good. Then we're running Fangren Marauder. Some people have been teching this in, just move that to the side, just because treasures have becoming a thing. He's a 6 mana 5/5, but whenever an artifact is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may gain 5 life. We can have infinite food if we do go off with a meal and eventually just have infinite food. Sam can sacrifice all of our foods, even if there is only one target. We just stack it over and over, sacrifice 3 foods, get out of the way, and then return that same target over and over, and then just gain infinite life. That's another way, and he's just a fun stacks piece I've been liking. Build a pony, 3 and a white for a 1/4. When he enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. Then you can sacrifice a food until end turn. Target creature you control assigns combat damage to its toughness rather than its power. It's basically his ETB get a food, which is the same as Samwise. So he enters the battlefield, he makes 2, Sam makes another, so that's 3. And he's going to be a key part to the meal combo as well. Just tons of food on ETB. And here we go. There we go. Perfect. Kind of just ended up. Jarira, Friend of the Forest. 1 in a green for a 2/3 legendary human elf druid. Tokens you control have tap, add a green. Which, now food tokens add 3, or add a green. If I have all of these out, I know, 4-card combo. It's still not even fully there yet, but Bill enters with 2 food. Sam makes a 3rd one. That's 3 foods that we can tap right away for 3 and use that for a meal to blink Bill back into the battlefield. Make 2, Sam makes 3, blink, over and over. And then if we have eventually we'll have unlimited, infinite tapped food tokens, which is cool. Or if we have the Marauder, we can then sack them all and then have infinite life. And then it's pretty hard to die from there. Reclamation Sage, just classic ETB, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So we can go over and over. Just great ETB. Same with Eternal Witness. Good enters ability. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Then here we go. Academy Manufacturer. Just this card is broken. If you would create a food A clue or treasure token, create one of each instead. So all those foods that we're going to be making treasures, which is most important, and clues. So this will go even more infinite with all of our combos, and this is just whenever I play a creature with Samwise, I create a treasure and then just hopefully go off from there. Very, very broken. Very, very good. Distinguished Conjurer. It's a new one-ish from Jumpstart. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life, and then you can pay 5, 4 and a white to tap it, exile another target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. So a slower one-time blink, but it's that ETB gain a life. So when I'm doing loops or just playing, I'm going to be gaining life. White Mane Lion. Now this guy just goes off on his own. Enters the battlefield, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Basically, what he's going to be doing is bouncing himself. As you play it, Sam makes me a food, bounce himself, pay another 2. Sam makes me a food, bounces himself, pay another 2. Usually that's how it's going to go, and if we have maybe like Academy Manufacturer and some other things going on, we can go do our combo. Or just one a turn, get our ETB going. Knight of Autumn. Selesnya 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, choose one, put 2+1/+1 counters on it, or destroy target artifact or enchantment, or gain 4 life. It's mostly just another Rex Sage and Commander, which is good. Rosie Cotton of South Lane. 2 and a white for 1/1 Halfling Peasant. You gotta have Rosie if you're going with Sam, like, come on. But she's still pretty good. Enters the battlefield, create a food token. Then whenever you create a token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosie. So if we're going through like the loops, Sam can get super big, or she just can help with the loops because she creates a food token when it enters, so it's 2 food tokens when she gets played. Elish Norn, Mother of Machines, 5 mana, 4/7, Fire X and Praetor, Vigilance. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers additional time. That's creating a food on ETBs. So that's always awesome. And then just a stacks piece, permanents enters the battlefield, don't cause abilities of permanents your opponent's control don't trigger. Which is just nice. But doubles up on my food, which is very good. Wood Elves, enters the battlefield, search your library for a forest card, put that forest card in play. Shuffle eyes afterwards. Forest card is untapped, and forest card is types, so you can get dual lands like Savannah and Temple Garden. Eleanor Gardner, 3 and a green for 2/4 Halfling Scout. Enters the battlefield, create a food token, and at the beginning of your end step, if you've sacrificed a food this turn, you may search your library for a basic land card and put that on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So just a decent value card, but still that ETB, create a food, is pretty key when we're going to create lots. The Gaffer, 2 and a white for a 2/3 Halfling Peasant. 3 of each end step. If you've gained 3 or more life this turn, draw a card. So that's just cracking a food. We're going to have plenty of food, so if I want to just crack a food, I get to draw a card each turn. Very nice. This guy is pretty crazy. Muric Brandybuck, 1 and a green. When 1 or more halflings you control attack a player, create a food token. So that also works in Commander, so if I attack more than 1 player, all 3 of them, I create 3 foods, which is pretty decent. Fairhaven Elf, nice ETB, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. For 2 and a green, pretty slow, but really good ETB. Alright, Farmer Cotton. Enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 white halfling creature tokens and X food tokens for X green white. Just super fun, super awesome. Helps stall the board a bit, helps get a lot of food. Okay, this is the one I was thinking of. That wasn't, the halfling one's pretty good too on attacks, but Peregrine Took, 2 and a green for a 2/3 halfling citizen. If 1 or more tokens will be put under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. And then sacrifice 3 foods to draw a card. So double up on my food token creation, and then instead of just like sacking to return something or trying to gain life, like we actually draw cards. So this is very, very good in our deck. To parry Stomper, 1 green green for 4/4 plant dinosaur vigilance. Enters the battlefield, search the library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And they can't attack if I have, unless I control 7 more lands. Just kind of exactly Fairhaven Elf, but maybe a little bit better just because of the stats, but roughly the same. Yes, Treebeard, Gracious Host. This card is hilariously awesome. Let's see if we can focus onto that. 2 green white, so 4 mana. Probably have to go back a bit. For 0/5 Tree Folk, Trample Ward 2. When he enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. Perfect. That's a lot of food tokens. But whenever I gain life, put that many +1/+1 counters on target halfling or tree folk. And we're going to be gaining a lot of life. Maybe if we had this out too, or just some food, this gets to be a little bit crazy sometimes. And I love it. Super fun. Another Sam, Loyal Attendant, 1 green white, halfling peasant, 2/4. Partner with Frodo. We don't have Frodo. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a food token. And activated abilities of foods you control cost 1 less to activate. Just super good. Isn't combo potential like this Sam, that's why he's not at the helm. But making my foods cost 1 less is super nice. And just creating foods over and over is great as well. Tireless Provisioner, landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield, create a food or a treasure token. Normally a treasure token, but we can create food too, which is just on flavor. Benny Brock's Zoologist. Is this? There we go. 3 and a white, but he has Convoke. But at the beginning of each end step, if you've created a token this turn, draw a card. And so every time I play a character, I'm going to draw a card. This card is very key in our strategy. We play a creature and boom, we draw a card next turn, and then creature, draw a card. Benny is good. Lauren of the Third Path. It's just another Rex Sage. ETB, destroy up to target artifact or enchantment. Vigilance. It also has the ability to tap each you and target opponent draw cards, which comes up sometimes. The Wicked Wolf. 2 green green for 3/3 wolf. Enters the battlefield. It fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And then sacrifice a food. Put a +1/+1 counter on the wolf. It gains indestructible till end of turn and tap it. So if we have, this can just sack food on its own. Can get really big. And then even when I flicker, it can eat things all the time. And when you flicker it, get this ETB going, targeting something, you can on top of that sack food and make it bigger. All right, move my camera down a bit. Next is Feasting Hobbit. 1 in the green for 2/2 halfling citizen. Devour food 3, which means when he enters the battlefield, sacrifice as many food as you want, and for each food he gets 3 +1/+1 counters onto him. Then creatures with power less than it, his power can't block it. Just a good way to close out the game. You can get pretty big for very few amount of food, and I'm going to have a lot of food, so making this guy like 11/11 is pretty easy with 3, and that's a fast clock, or even a 14/14, 17/17, you can imagine. It's pretty quick. Lion Sash, just good removal, which is just nice to have. I like this one over any of the new or the old Scavenging Ooze. Solemn Simulacrum, just the classic sad robot, classic ETB. 4 mana, search the library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. If you do, shuffle. And when he's put into the graveyard from play, when he dies, draw a card. Just a classic card. If I'm running ETBs, I'm running him. The Gilded Goose, of course, we're a food deck. 1 mana, bird, flying, 0/2. Enters the battlefield, create a food token. Great. Then you can tap it to sacrifice food, add 1 mana of any color, or each turn just create more food. We got the Welcoming Vampire. 1 in white for 2/3 flying vampire. Whenever 1 or more other creatures with power 2 or less enter the battlefield under control, draw a card. Ability only triggers once per turn, but it's good card draw. we're going to get these people in. And if we don't have like something, we could flicker if we don't have anything going on just to keep drawing. Mondrak, Glory Dominus. 2 white for a 4/4 Phyrexian Horror. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice as many tokens are created instead. That's the huge part. Then 1 Phyrexian white, sacrifice 2 other artifacts and/or creatures, put an indestructible counter on this. Just doubling up on every single food that Samwise is making or anybody else is making is very, very good. And then our last creature here is Core Skyfisher. 1 and a white for a 2/3, enters the battlefield. Return a permanent you control to owner's hand. So this can work as another white mane lion. So he could bounce himself if you wanted. Those are all of our creatures. And that's mainly the deck, is making these creatures, making these foods, getting that Emil combo out. Super fun. Most of them are like 3 or less, which is good. Keep that curve down low. Then we have our sorceries, where we have Pack and Farewell. You gotta be Pack and Farewell nowadays. 4 white, choose 1 or more, exile all artifacts, exile all creatures, exile all enchantments, or all graveyards, or all of them. This is the best oh crap button nowadays, so you better be packing Farewell. Got Cultivate, just decent ramp. I'm trying to do some splashy things, so why not have Cultivate in there. Austere Command, another oh crap button, destroy all artifacts, enchantments, creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less, or creatures with converted mana cost 4 or greater. You choose 2, so it's not like all like Farewell, but you can usually save like most of my board, just like I was saying, they're mostly all mana cost 3 or less if you wanted to destroy all 4 or greater. And we got Battle of Bywater. 1 white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. Then create a food token for each creature you control. Just food production and a decent board wipe. Been working out pretty good. Thought this wouldn't really fit in the deck, but it's been working out very, very well. Harmonize, just draw 3 cards. Awesome. Gotta do what you gotta do. It's Selesnya, and then Kodama's Reach, another Cultivate, just to get us up there and going. Those are the sorceries. Now for the instants, we have Excise the Imperfect. This has been a new one that I've been really liking. 1 white, exile a non-land permanent. Its controller incubates X, where X is that mana value. Just being able to hit anything at instant speed is very, very good. And this one exiles, unlike Beast Within or any of our other comparisons. Got Teferi's Protection. Till you end your turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Exile Teferi's Protection. Just a great... You probably heard this card before when you're playing Commander. Great protection spell. Generous Gift. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature. Just like this, but this one exiles, so super important. I just like, Beast Within 2. Destroy a permanent. They create a 3/3. I like Destroy a permanent. It's just, it does cost 3 mana, but being able to pinpoint anything I need that's like a stacks piece that's getting in my way, just being so versatile is very important to me. Rampage the Clans. Now this is something. 3 and a green, instant. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 centaur creature token. Yes. So when we go infinite with foods, we're going to have a lot of food. And what we could do is that instead of this just being a normal removal spell, this is turn all my foods into 3/3 centaurs. It's insane. It can be used as a normally where you just need to destroy all artifacts and enchantments that your opponents control. They do get 3/3s, but this is turning my food into a food army. So it's a win condition, which is also at instant speed, which is hilarious. It's about to be my turn. play this, make all my foods 3/3s, and then swing in with them right away. It's just so good. And this card doubles up on both removal and a win condition. It's crazy. We got Heroic Intervention. Gotta be packing it if you're running green. Impermanence, you control, gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. Very key. Gotta be packing it. Clever Concealment. 2 white for Convoke. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. So this is kind of like the new Teferi's Protection, but having both and being Convoke is very nice, especially if you're doing creature deck, which I am. Swords to Plowshares, got to pack your 1 mana, exile target creature. Very good. And then Path to Exile as well. Exile target creature. They search their library for a land. Pretty like on the nose commander stuff, you know, except for this one's the spicy card in the deck, which is a win condition. Then we go to artifacts. We got the Great Henge, of course. If we're doing enter the battlefield things, or even creature-centric deck, or just running a green deck, you're running the Great Henge. Like, come on. 7 green, that's a lot. But this spell costs X less, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Then you can pay 2, or tap it, add 2 green, you gain 2 life. Even if you're not using it, just remember, just tap this, gain your life. It's free value. But the most important thing is whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. The engine to the deck, very good. Conjurer's Closet, 5 mana. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that to the battlefield under your control. So this is, remember, it's ETB. It's not like cast or anything. So I'm going to create food no matter what. But usually I'll have a good enters ability that will trigger, you know, something going on every single turn with Conjurer's Closet. Inspiring Sanctuary. Non-artifact spells you cast have Improvise. So 3 mana. Your artifacts can help you cast these spells. For each artifact you're done activating mana abilities for pays for 1. So all my food can cast everything else, which is super, super awesome. I'm going to have a lot of food, and this can just help cast everything. It's so broken. We got Idol of Oblivion, 2 mana, tap, draw a card, activate only if you create a token this turn. We do that every single turn, no matter what. There's not a turn where I'm not doing that, so this is nice card draw. You can pay 8 to sacrifice this to create a 10/10, but we don't do that. This is card draw on a stick. Then we have Panharmonicon. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes the trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So more food, doubling food. Of course, we're running Panharmonicon. Those are the artifacts. Then we have our enchantments. We have Guardian Project. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control or a creature in your graveyard, draw a card. So just playing Commander, that text always is going to go for it. So every single time we're blinking or anything, we're drawing cards. Very key to our strategy. The Trail of Crumbs. 1 and a green for enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. And whenever you sacrifice a food, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it in your hand, the rest at the bottom of your order. So card draw with our food tokens if we have really nothing else going on. This is pretty helpful. Aura Shards. I'm sorry, opponents. Everyone hates this card. Whenever a creature comes into play under your control, you may destroy a target artifact or enchantment. So that's just brutal for your opponents. Divine Visitation, yes, love this card. If 1 or more tokens you would be created under your control, that many 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead. So all of our food are going to be angels. So ETB on something, I get an angel every single time I cast a creature. It's insane. Teleportation Circle. It's just like Conjurer's Closet, but new. 3 and a white. Beginning of your end step, exile a target artifact or creature you control and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So just doubling up on that effect is really good. Smother and Tithe, yep, gotta be packing. Whenever opponent draws a card, they may pay 2. If that player doesn't, you create a treasure. Super broken, I'm sure you know. Tokasaz, welcome. Still don't know how to say it. 2 and a white. Whenever one or more creatures with mana value 3 or less enter the battlefield under control, draw a card. This ability only triggers once per turn, but that's still fine. More ways of doing this to card draw to get through our deck to find our stuffs. Anointed Procession, doubling up our food. Doubling up our food. Yep. If effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many for 4 mana. Then also Parallel Lives, doubling up our food. Doubling up our food. Double trouble there. Alright, those are our enchantments. Very powerful ones. We have 1 Planeswalker. We're running the Internal Wanderer. 4 white. There we go. I got the weird shiny one. No more than 1 creature can attack this Eternal Wanderer each combat. Starts with 5 loyalty. They can pay 1. Exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of next end step. So this just blinks over and over. Exactly what we're doing. Perfect. Can also just create a 2/2 white samurai. Then you can -4, and you can do this right away. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control, not chosen this way. So it's a semi-board wipe right away for 6, which is just nice. Or it's going to be blinking all of my creatures, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Eternal Wanderer. Oh yeah. Love it. Now let's go with our lands. Celestia Sanctuary, just a bounce land. Let's see. Basics. We're going to need a lot of basics because of our Solemn Simulacrums and all of our other stuff that searches Fairhaven Elf for basic lands. Scavenger Grounds, pay 2, sacrifice a desert, so sacrifice itself, exile all cards from all graveyards. Just good to have it in a pinch against other people. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. Each land is a forest in addition to its other types, just nice to have. Basic. Bountiful Promenade. Enters battlefield, tapped unless you control 2 or more opponents. Very nice to have. Always your battle bond lands. Reliquary Tower, no maximum hand size. I normally don't like running this in so many decks, but I have enough space where I can run it. Got Temple Garden, your shock land. Basic. Windswept Heath, our uncolor fetch. Minas Tirith. Enters battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. At tap to add a white. You can pay 1 and a white to draw a card. Activate only if you attacked with 2 or more creatures this turn. 2 is not too bad. So it's nice to have. A Savannah. Sun Petal Grove. Tapped unless you control a forest or plains. Canopy Vista. Tapped unless you control 2 or more basics. And it's fetchable. We got the Shire. Shire enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Tap to add a green, same thing, but you can tap 1 in a green, tap an untapped creature control to create a food token. Oh yeah, food token. Overgrown Farmland. It comes to the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. So it's one of the slow lands or tango lands, people are calling it. Let's finish this off. The Branch Loft Pathway is that flip land where you choose if you want white or green at that given moment. Gotta be running Beseiju, super good. Channel for 2, destroy artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land. They search for land. Super good to have. You should always be packing it. Temple of Plenty. I'm still running the Temple. Just battlefield scribe 1. And then, of course, Command Tower. The most broken land in the game. Then we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forests. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plains. That, my friends, is Samwise Gamgee. Super fun. I love how it turned out. I like having unique, weird combos, and this is just Value Town. And just because, like I said, when I heard Lord of the Rings is coming out, I told myself I'm building Sam, no matter what card happened, and I'm just glad it really turned out this way. Been having a lot of fun with them, and this is one of my more recent decks from 2023, and he's been a blast. Now we'll move on to my tier lists and show you what I think about him in my tier lists. We'll see you there. Alright, now we're on the tier list for the fun level, as I'm going to say is how I enjoy playing it. Sam has been very enjoyable. Definitely don't think he's C tier, but I don't know if he's been up here with like my OGs. He's been fun. He's definitely not D. I'll put him bottom from B. I guess I'm going to put him in C, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It just hasn't like fully developed and grown as my favorite decks of all time. He's definitely up there though. I think he's going to be pretty good and a mainstay just because it's those weird combo decks, how I kind of like my decks to be weird combo-y stuff. And we'll put him there for now, but I feel a little bit bad. Alright, we'll move on to the competitive side. Alright, we're here with the competitive level, and I do think Sam's pretty good. It's been performing pretty decently. I think I'm going to put it right somewhere in B tier. It's definitely not A tier. I think it belongs there. Thelon is just kind of very, very slow and just can't get off the ground sometimes. And and Gishoth just sometimes just wins the game. So I think, this is how we're going to put it. Right there, solid in B, which is still good. I think all my decks are still like up there, playable. I wouldn't be playing something that's F tier, as there is no F tier. You're not even D tier right now. We might get there though. I should grade fairly with some D tiers, so we'll see where it gets there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. This is the one that people have been asking for. And deck list is down below if you want the full deck list. And thanks for watching. More here on MTG Place. See you around. Peace.